Go. Everybody, peace. Welcome to the Sorry to Bother You show. Wherever or have you are listening, we are so grateful to have you here with us. As you guys know, I'm your host, Kashawn Cottle, and here's my co-host, Mr. Dre Pennington.
How we doing, everybody? So good to be back. We told you guys we're coming back. I feel like we got a special show, Kashawn. What do you think?
Dre, this might be my favorite show that we ever made so far. Guys, I have a really good friend of mine on the show with us today. She's probably one of the greatest, not just women basketball players, but basketball players in general that I've ever been around. Her mind is so like cerebral, like one of the smartest basketball minds I've been around. But outside of that, even a better person. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss DeAsias Brown.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Thank you for having me on here.
DeAsias, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. My first year of actual like adulthood, so I'm trying to get into the groove of it. After graduating, so I'm trying to get into the swing of things.
Yeah. How was 2020 for you?
2020 was actually like wild because I was going through a period of getting to know myself better. Like I was trying to focus more on developing me. And so as I was getting into that groove, like boom, we hit the pandemic. So it was kind of wild. And then I was trying to go overseas because that was my graduating year. And then that's gone. So it's not like, like traumatic things happened, like losing someone happened to me. It was just like the opportunities that I felt were like getting set in place for me kind of went away. So I had to shift my gears and not like get frustrated and like down on myself and like quit. Kind of had to keep moving, so it's like that.
Right. So you were saying about you were going to pursue your overseas career last year. For those who might not know your story and your path to where you are how you got into where you are right now, why don't you tell them about your high school playing career, your collegiate playing career, and your professional playing career?
Okay. So high school, I started in Japan. I was there from 8th to 10th grade. So I started in Japan. 9th grade, we had like Far East and whatever. My name really got big out there. People knew me like as soon as I stepped on the floor. So I really got that recognition. Didn't make it far that year for Far East. Not the expectation that we had. 10th grade, I had a good friend of mine too, Alicia Allison, come on the team. She moved to Japan. So like when you put us two together, it was like a tandem, like dynamic duo. Like nobody could stop us.
That was amazing to watch.
We won Far East that year. So that was my high school in Japan, 9th, 10th grade. And then when I got back to the States, it was like a kind of a different experience because the girls on the team, I knew them from like came back to the same place that I left. So I know getting on there, the relationships kind of clashed at first because I knew how good I was. And they would say, you were in Japan, so they're not as good as the people over here. But that's not true because the only thing that's different is honestly your competitive nature. Like the competitive nature over there was like subpar. Girls were just happy to play basketball. So it was just like, that was all that it was. In high school here, it was hard to get my name out there. People knew me, but that respect level wasn't where it should be because those girls have been here since middle school. So they got that respect. Even if I could have been better than them, would have been, it was, what it was. College, I went to mid-major, PWI first. When I first got there, it was very culture shocking. My friends always tell me I'm one of those, you're too black for the white schools, too white for the black schools people, I guess. So,
wow.
Yeah, that's what I was labeled as. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, I'm cool with it. But being there was an experience because that's where I first learned the politics of college basketball. Like college basketball is literally politics. If you're not one of the top recruits for women's basketball, it's really difficult to like just establish yourself on a team. So me being there, I our team, we were good, but it's not like we were the best in the conference. But we were a private school, so people on the team had money, and there was players on the team whose parents were giving back, and they got that playing time because their parents were doing that. My parents were happy that I made it to school and on a scholarship, so it was like I'm there to play. And it's difficult to have your college coach tell you you're our best player when we're practicing and everything. We just can't put you on the court. Like, that was hard for me to hear. I just didn't understand it because there was no explanation for it. So I transferred, and then I went to HBCU. So that was another culture shock because it was like, oh, now it's all Black people. So it's just like, whoa. And then it was down south in Mississippi. So it was very different. Like, it was rural. There's nothing around. Walmart in both directions is an hour away. The gas station like 30 minutes away. So it was like you had to strategically plan your life just to get your necessities. But being at the HBCU, being at Alcorn, it really like bred me into the person, into the player that I am now. Like, my coach there, she both of them actually, Coach P and Coach Lewis, they really pushed me to become the player that I had the potential to be. And that was great. Like, I had to work for everything that I wanted to get. Even though I didn't even get the recognition there, and I proved on the court night in and night out who I was and the player that I am, because I went junior and senior year. That transfer year, I had to sit out half of my sophomore season and then the first half of my junior season. So I didn't start until conference. And then senior year is when I really was able to skyrocket and play. But that definitely was a big transition for me. And it really helped out a lot with my playing abilities and like my mindset and just getting deeper into basketball. And then I guess now pursuing my professional career, it's hard, it's tough, finding the right agent, talking to the right people. It's all about knowing someone that knows someone. So I'm one of those people that don't really know too many people, so it's tough. But people reach out to me all the time, and I respect those people. I appreciate them so much because they try to help me, as much as they can. People that don't even know me that well. But I'm still working. I still literally work out every day. I go to the gym all the time. I want to train other girls because there's no women, training other girls or other women. Like, it's all men. All anyone can do is go to a man. So I want to put myself in that position, since my playing career is at a halt, put myself in that position to do that. So yeah.
Right. So you talked about how you were at a PWI and then you transferred over to an HBCU. For those who might not know what a PWI is or HBCU is, can you just explain that a little bit?
Okay, so PWI is predominantly white institution. So definitely, okay, so it was Furman University. It's in South Carolina, 30 minutes from Clemson. So it was very, very, what is the word? Republican. I would go downtown and the flags would be, one experience I had, I went downtown, really like just some casual stuff, better flag I've ever seen in my life. Like one that should be on the flagpole. That's how big it was. And they were just walking, like holding it, and that's the wildest thing. So yeah, PWI, just a whole bunch of white people there. So the Black people were the athletes, and the few Black people were on scholarship for academics. So that's what it was. And HBCU, historically Black college, university. That's what that is. So it was good to experience the both of them, honestly. I got to experience both, and not many people get to say that because there's always a debate and a battle between the two with Black students that go to both of them, but I was able to experience both, so it was cool.
How did you growing up in Japan, how did that affect your ability to ingratiate and adapt to the two different environments?
It actually helps a lot. Growing up in Japan, it's like when you're there, you meet so many people because everyone's so friendly. Like, everyone wants to get to know each other because everybody's new. If you've been there for a year, if you've lived there your whole life, or if you've been there for a few years, everybody's new and everyone wants to get to know each other for them from the beginning. There's groups of people that have been friends or whatever, but it's not like really clicked up living there. So when I was there, it wasn't really clicked up. Everyone was cool with everybody. Then coming here, like being able to interact with white people, interact with Asian people, interact with Black people, Hispanic people. It was so easy because that's all I could do in Japan, because you have to interact with everybody, because you don't have one of your kind, like just a specific group of your kind there. So it was pretty cool. And I still have friends from Japan, Black, white, Hispanic, Filipino, all of that. So it was good. It was good.
All right, so I'll say I know you played at basically two different schools. So I was gonna ask like how was the competition transferring from conference to conference? Like how was that?
So being at Furman, the competition level, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like the girls were good. I'm not going to say anything that they weren't. The girls were good. It was just different because it was structured discipline basketball. So everything was real set plays, running through the offense. If you get in transition, you get a layup, or you might get a corner three, like a quick knockdown, something like that. Then being at HBCU, it was like everything was just fast. Like my team, my coach, her thing was defense creates offense, because we didn't have offensive players that, like a complete team of offensive players that can just score the ball. Then we were injury prone at all. It was just like it was tough. But transitioning from a PWI to a HBCU, it was like a big difference, because I was learning how to play in that system in the first year and a half, and then just to get out of a system and like do four out, one in, it was like a big transition for it to work, because I'm a player that is able to create or kick out and pass to my teammates. So at Furman, the kicking out and passing to the teammates, I got assists, or I would get, my couple of points. Then at Alcorn, it was like I'm scoring buckets, but I'm not really getting those assists, because everybody's not like just that knack score to just score the ball every single possession. So I would say it was a smooth transition at one point, but the adjustment period in my mind, it took a little minute to understand that.
I'll say so, because most people don't realize, like, when you transfer, that like you have to really relearn a whole new offense. You might get it's like some coaches have offensive playbooks. You have to relearn like everything. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm asking, like, do you think that your transition from transferring, did you blossom more at your first school, or do you think you blossomed better with your second because you got to play in a freestyle, free-flowing offense more? Mm-hmm. Or were you better with the structure?
Honestly, I feel like if I had the opportunity to be on a team that had a mixture of both, I would have excelled like way more. I excelled at both schools. At Furman, it really taught me that I needed to work on my game, because I would get in the gym, but I didn't as much because Furman was so rigorous that you really had to be in your books. And one time I got a D, and my coach like really spazzed on me, and it was like one of the hardest classes I've ever taken in my life. And so I was like really trying to focus on doing my schoolwork and getting all that done just so I can get playing time, thinking like that was the important part. And because I'm like, she's like, what are you doing? I said, I was sleeping because I've been studying all night. Like I go to practice, like a lot. But then I learned like, okay, you have to get in the gym to get this playing time. And then my skills started to get better and everything. But then I transferred because I was like, this is not going to work for me. So then getting to Alcorn, it was like, now these girls are in the gym because classes aren't as hard. So everybody's in the gym, everybody's working out, but that like doing plays and having a structure, like bringing that all into practice and like carrying over all that into practice, it didn't happen. So it was like everybody was all individual skill, but bringing that team factor, that wasn't it. Like at Furman, we're going in the gym together. At Alcorn, it was like individually getting in the gym and putting up shots, not really working on your game and like how to get better overall as a basketball player instead of what you're good at. So
okay, so speaking as a transfer, like you and myself, I think, what are your thoughts on like the NCAA and their their transfer rate being kind of high right now? I think it's across, I want to say college basketball, it's at like 13%. Mm-hmm. So what's your thoughts on that? How do you feel about it?
Honestly, like the whole transfer thing is the weirdest thing to me because I calculated my years. I only played college basketball for 2.5 years total. So I didn't even get the whole 4-year experience. Then you have girls that literally play college basketball for like 6 years. And so it's just like, what do they do that I couldn't do because I still wanted to play, like, because I know how good I am. So it's like, I should have that same opportunity. They're just playing and getting their master's degree and still under their regular scholarship that they got when they first came into college. Like, they're not even under a graduate program or nothing like that. So it was just the transfer thing is weird to me, but the rates are high, most likely because, one, girls are figuring out that it is a political game. It can be a coach that says that they want you and they want to mold you into who they want to fit into their program rather than picking a player that is fit for their program. And that was me in a sense. When I first got to Furman, honestly, when I went on my visit, the head coach literally told me, I didn't watch your film until like 30 minutes ago before I pulled up to the school. And I did a workout and I played pickup with them, and she was like, I'm actually impressed. And it was just like, dude, what? Like, why would you? Well, how are you so unprepared? This man came to my game like 3 weeks ago. But yeah, that's probably my time because these coaches are trying to mold girls into players that they're not. To maybe the school that they chose, the role is, well, not even girls and guys. The role that they thought that they would be having, they don't get. It might be too high or it might be too low. So they want to set the bar from themselves and be the player that they feel that they're destined to be. Because it's a lot of girls that I've met, and some go to big schools and they're good. They can, at a mid-major, they dominate, but they want to go to that big school because it's the name, you know? And then there's girls that are at lower institutions simply because maybe grades, not having the opportunity to be showcased in high school or in college. So it's just like people are going to leave because they're uninterested now. They're fed up or whatever their circumstances are with the school that they're at. And I feel like it's different now because these generations that are coming up, they're speaking up for themselves. They're not just settling with what they're given, you know. A lot of people are just like, I'm blessed to be here. And then there are some people, I'm blessed to be here. I'm going to get what I'm worth out of it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why the rate is so high, because people get fed up, or they just realize like, I have something better, or this is too much. So I feel like that's why it's getting up high right now.
I'll say, speaking of that, how you were talking about, you know, there's some girls who played like 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. I personally know of like several different guys that I know that like played 5 or 6 years of like college basketball, and I was like, how'd you finesse that? I was like, that's not, you know, they always promised you only 4 years. So I definitely understand like how that could happen.
Right.
Yeah. And Dee, speaking of, so you're coaching, you coached last year, and so you transitioned from a player to a coach. With you being a coach, has that taught you to maybe not only look at basketball in general differently, but has it taught you to maybe look at the whole transfer process differently as a coach as opposed to a player?
Yeah, watching from the sideline as a coach is definitely helped me improve my game. More so in the mental aspect, being able to see, like, when I played my senior year, we were like 4-20 something. It was terrible. And I would be so frustrated because I'm like, these girls want to play. Like, I need help out here. And it was a struggle to me in my mind. But then when I sat back and became their coach the next season, like literally the same girls, and then was on the sideline trying to help them, it made me realize it is a difference from being on the court than being off of it. Me trying to tell them something as a teammate and then telling them as a person watching from the sideline, they're more receptive. They try to understand me more, because it's like, I'm not putting you in a bad position, so to say, as your teammate. I'm trying to put you in a good position or tell you something as a coach to help you get better and not make that same mistake or do that same thing again. And I don't know, just being able to and it helps me analyze the game. Like, I literally watch basketball all day. If I don't watch a game live, I'm watching the highlights on YouTube. So it's just like I literally analyze and watch these players and their movements and just see the different ways on what they're doing different from kids in college that are doing it, and then what college kids are doing that separate themselves from other college players that they're playing against. That's why they're getting to the pros. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because I used to be one of those people like, why is this person in the league? They suck, da 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 da, this and that. Mm-hmm. No. Put some of these guys that might think, I'm using guys as an example because I can't say women because the league is so small, because there's literally women right now that can be playing in the league and push players out easily. So for guys, it's like, yeah, you say you think you can make it to the NBA, please go play the people that are on the bench that have not gotten any burn like this whole time, because those dudes really be hooping. Like they're on the NBA team for a reason. You might say they suck. There's a reason that they're there. So it honestly, like from the coach perspective and just being able to sit and watch it now, not as a player, it really helped my game grow. It made me slow my mind down, slow the pace down of the game in my mind, learning timing and spacing and things like that. Winning things, it really helped a lot, honestly.
Okay. So what is it that you've noticed is what separates guys and women that can make it to the league as opposed to those that can't? What is that detail that you've noticed that separates the two?
I can't say confidence because I know myself personally. I honestly have all the confidence in the world. Like I think I could play against anybody in the WNBA. Not saying that I'm better than everybody out there, but I think I can compete on that level. Like I believe in myself that much, and I think that is one thing, to definitely believe in yourself that much that you can compete on the next level, whatever level that may be. But I think what honestly separates is the amount of time that you put into developing your game. Yeah, you can be getting in the gym. Yeah, you can be putting up shots. But when you're getting in the gym, what is it that you're working on to get your game better? It's not just, oh, I'm working on my pull-up. Oh, I'm working on my set jump shot. Oh, I'm working on finishing moves, this and that. Because majority of the time, you don't have a defender out there with you. You're either working by yourself or you have a teammate that's passing you the ball. Literally, that's it. So it's like, people that are separating themselves and getting there, I feel like in their mind, they are playing the game as they're practicing. Because I know me, that's what I do. I play the game as I'm practicing. I talk to myself. I'd be like, oh, this defender's coming. Oh, this person's coming up for help. Oh, the big is going to hedge on the screen. Or like just mental things that I know can happen in the game that repetitively happens. I talk to myself about that when I'm working out. So it helps me like work on my pace and things like that. And I feel like for people that are in the league now, that's probably something that they do. That's something that they've been focusing on, because a lot of times, like you'll see videos of, the NBA guys in their like workouts, and they'll say, oh, I post up this way, and my defenders 9 times out of 10, they're going, like, I just watched a video of Carmelo, and he was posting up, showing his post moves. He was like, 9 times out of 10, my defender is going to jam up in me. So they're going to come up under me and try to give me no space to breathe. So he was showing his post moves and what he's going to do when his defender does that. And I feel like just being able to do things like that, and knowing what to do when defenders do things to you and stuff, like that's what separates. Being able to think in your mind what's going to happen next, just making the play before it happens, stuff like that.
Right.
So I'll say, just speaking on like, what's your natural position? Just asking.
2.
2? Okay. So how you talked about how you were like forced to, your coach had like an idea of forcing you to like mold you or anything like that. What position did he want you to play when you were at Furman? Just asking.
So at Furman, I guess naturally I'm more of a combo guard because I can pass the ball well. At Furman, she wanted me to be a backup point guard because we already had 2 shooting guards and they were straight shooters. Like, go to the corner, shoot. That was all they had to do in the game. Go to the corner, shoot. She wanted me to be the primary ball handler and be the person to go to the corner and shoot when need to be. So that wasn't my game. My game was I can initiate the offense. I'll bring the ball down and score initially off of whatever we're running, or I'll be that person that's the play is ran for. Like like I'm a combo guard. So putting me in that position to just be a primary ball handler was tough for me because I never needed to dribble that much. I just needed to bring the ball up the floor and like get things started. So being at Furman really that taught me a lesson because I realized you need to work on your ball handling skills and become a better ball handler. And also you need to become a better shooter too, because you're being put in that position to shoot. So I had to, it really helped me like work on my game, honestly. So being there, that experience.
I was gonna say, because some people they never make that transition of that like 2 to 1 or that 1 to 2. Mm-hmm. And you just said like it was very hard for you. So then when you went to Alcorn, was it now you're specifically like you were there to score, you are the scorer, or was it more like, okay, we're gonna need you to be the backup ball hunter, but you're also gonna have to still be our main, like one of our main scorers?
Oh yeah, Alcorn, I was definitely that combo guard. Like you're gonna have to help bring the ball up, and once you bring that ball up, you need to go get yourself in the position to score the ball. Yeah, Furman really helped me because at Alcorn that was literally what it was: bring the ball up, score, and be a playmaker rather than being one-dimensional. Because that's what I was. I was like, either I'm gonna get to the basket and score, or I'm gonna be that one-on-one person, or it was nothing. But then after being told you can't dribble, you can't shoot, okay, I'm gonna work on going to dribble, learn how to dribble better, shoot better. And then when I got to Alcorn, it really worked out for me because those are the things that I was working on, and it excelled my game. So it helped.
Yeah,
let's see that.
Yeah, D, I just want to ask you a question. So, do you so you talked about how you were a combo guard. What I've seen in my playing experience so far is that guards, the people that play the 1 and the 2, tend to be more focused and more willing to put in the extra work as opposed to bigs. Would you agree with that or disagree with that?
No, I agree. And I kind of have, I'm not going to say sympathy is not the right word. I kind of feel for the bigs though, as to why, putting in that work is different, because honestly, being a big, you have to have somebody in there with you. Because what are you going to do? Like layups on no one? Being in the paint is physical. Like someone is literally pushing you every motion in order for you to score. A guard, you can't get touched. So it's two different like playing fields, even though you're playing the same game. So it's just like, I understand how it's so much harder for them to work and get that work in than it is for a guard. Especially if you're a big that doesn't extend your range like to the mid range or to the 3, or if you're not good with working outside the paint. So yeah, you can work on your layups, but then what else can you do? So I understand why it's like bigs. It seems like they don't work as hard, but they literally need like someone else in the gym getting in there with them.
Right. And so you talked about how you also train other girls at the moment right now. What are you showing the girls that you weren't shown when you were growing up?
I guess I would say it's not necessarily like what I'm showing them. I'm trying to instill in them the work ethic to get better. Like I'm literally showing them just a lot of the things are really basic in the beginning. Like you get your basic fundamentals, you put shots up, you get your warm up in. Like that stuff is essential to becoming better. Like letting your body naturally mold into becoming a basketball player. And then, then you build up on those fundamental skills. And I think that's the thing too. Like people don't want to have those fundamental skills before they learn the advanced things. I've been in the gym with plenty of girls. Yeah, they're in there hooping, they're doing step backs, they're doing floaters, finger rolls and everything. But then when it comes time to drill and work on that, they can't do it. But that's because all they're practicing is working on that step back rather than working on a simple pull up and getting into your jump shot. So it's like I'm trying to teach them the fundamentals. You have to have the fundamentals to build up, to consistently be able to knock down shots, do these moves, break your defender down, like things like that.
Right. And it's funny you say that, because a couple months ago we had another coach on our show, and he kind of echoed the same sentiments that you just said, in terms of it's more not what you're doing in the training, but it's the detail behind it. Are you stepping with your inside foot on your pull-up? Are you going on an inside finish with your left hand? Are you peeking at the rim when you get into the paint on a pump fake? It's those little details is what maybe separates those good from great players, But do you think even with the details that can still be utilized like during training, or do you feel like you need defenders, maybe a live defender, to really get the full experience of enhancing your game when it comes to training?
Live defenders definitely do help. It definitely does help because you get that feel of someone guarding you. But it's like when you're training, you don't want to constantly, just like being in practice with your teammates. It started getting repetitive because I know she's going to do this when I do this, or she's going to do that. If I do that, she's going to. So it's like that's when the details become important, because now you're remembering, oh, I should have peeked at the rim. Like how you just said, I should have peeked at the rim on my pump fake before I put the shot up, because I just put it up there not knowing that my defender was this close to me. So those little details actually do make a big difference into what you do live, like in practice and live and in the game. So it really is important.
Right. And Dre, I'm gonna let you go, but I have just one more question. What have you noticed is, in terms of playing style, not necessarily work ethic or maybe athleticism, but just playing style, what have you noticed is the greatest difference between professional players and collegiate players?
Honestly, the pace of the game. Professional players, they know what spot they want to get to score. They know how fast they want to move. They know their bodies and what they even going in as a rookie. I feel like that's the same thing as going in from high school to college. So once you go from college to pro, it's like you want to go fast, because college is just fast. It's just straight speed. Once you get into the pro game, it seems like it slows down. Those players are still extremely fast, powerful, strong, and everything. But the pace of the game slows down because everyone is getting to their spot where they know that they're efficient in, rather than I can pull up from right here because I'm open. But pros will be like, oh, I can pull up from here because I'm open, but I'm so open that I can continue to get to the basket and get an easier finish rather than trying to hit this pull up, which is a more difficult shot. So I feel like that's a big difference. Learning the pace of the game is really different between the two.
Right, because those reads are different too, the quicker the game gets. Yeah,
definitely.
So just transitioning, like you talk about transitioning from like that player to coach now. What do you prefer now, to be honest? Like, do you think that your greatest impact was coaching, or was your greater impact being that leader on the floor, being the best player on the floor? Do you think?
Or even training,
or even training now, being honest. I'm sorry, just out of those three, what do you think what do you prefer now? Like, it's hard to tell, I would think.
It's hard now because it's still early. In my heart, I still know I want to play. I still know I have the game. Like, I'm only 23, so I'm still young, still fresh. I stay in shape. I still want to play. Definitely getting into this coaching aspect and this trainer aspect, though. Right now, especially being in the pandemic, it's kind of hard because I know the caliber of people I want to work with, I guess. But it's all about letting other people know before they even try to get a session with me. Like, I expect you to work super hard. Like, you're going to come in here, you're going to sweat, you're going to be tired. So don't think anything less than that. And just I guess I really would love to be playing right now, but this experience, coaching and training, is helping me understand the game of basketball even more than what I thought I knew. So I guess the training and the coaching right now is really beneficial. It's what I'm liking right now. So yeah.
Got you. So D, you talked about how the academics at Furman were difficult, and I'm sure they were difficult at Alcorn as well, because college is difficult in general, no matter what
Yeah.
school you go to. Why don't you tell the people about your degree field, and how you use your degree now to start your business?
So I got a bachelor in computer science. Definitely was a difference between going from Furman to Alcorn, because Furman was a private university. They had all of these, all of the new technological things, all of the new information. And then we had American teachers at Alcorn. We had Chinese teachers, so it's kind of hard to understand them. I did have one Black professor, and he definitely helped a lot because he knew the new standards of technology that's going on right now and what we needed to focus on learning rather than what was being taught. I mean, because of course the fundamentals of things are very important because it sets the foundation for your learning experience, just like basketball. I guess he was saying you didn't have to know so much about the basics because there's literally new things coming out daily. So that helped. But getting my degree in computer science, it pushed me to start my business, Humble Creations. I do logos, business cards, flyers. I'm working on learning how to develop websites and everything. So it's really pushed me to use my degree, because at first I was literally just, I'm going to college to play basketball because I'm going to be a professional. That was literally my entire mindset. And then once I'm not going to say it stopped, but once the pandemic hit and I had no choice but to figure out what my next move was, it pushed myself, okay, use the degree. You know what you're doing. You might not enjoy it as much, but you know what you're doing. And getting into the graphic design part, it actually pushes me even more because I like that. What I was learning in school, not even using it. Coding and everything, I am for the web development, but coding and everything that I was learning, I'm not really using it because I wasn't too interested in it. But still the computer science field, I'm still doing the same things with learning HTML and CSS and things like that, Java, to build and develop websites. And I don't know, I guess being the student athlete that I was so dedicated to basketball that I kind of lost focus and lost track of the school part because it was so easy to cheat. I had classmates that would literally do it for me. So it didn't really it really didn't make a difference to me whether or not I got an A on something or if it was a B. If I passed, I'm cool. I'm about to go to my basketball game, whatever. But definitely now I'm realizing, understanding, okay, maybe I should pay a little more attention, but it is very essential for me that I have those fundamental pieces because it's not so difficult for me to learn these things that I'm trying to teach myself now, starting from scratch. And then YouTube literally has everything. So
right.
It's really helping me grow. So
hey, people be sleep on YouTube, man. I tell them all the time. You need to learn something, go to YouTube real fast.
Well, go ahead. No, go ahead, Trey. Go ahead.
I'll say so you made your business and Humble Creations. Can I ask what was the inspiration behind the name and what made, other than the pandemic and everything like that, what made you be all right, well, I want to do this I want to start my own business for myself, because some people I know struggle with starting their own business. So what pushed you and think of all right, I'm gonna do this?
Honestly, it was a struggle for me at first because I've literally been thinking about doing this for the past 2 years. I just didn't have confidence in myself because I knew I didn't know anything about graphic design. And in college, you as a computer science major, you don't go in for um, you don't really have graphic designing classes at Furman. My freshman year, we did have a like Photoshop class, but that was pretty much it. It was for a semester. And then our professor made us go out and literally take pictures. So I was like, dude, I'm not, this is not for me. Like I'm not taking no pictures. But yeah, the computer science degree is so broad that you don't get to really figure out what you want to focus on unless you already know going into it. So I kind of found out that and I was interested in graphic design and like websites because I always was like very analytical, observant of how things were placed, color schemes, things like that. So I was like, I really like this stuff. So I thought about doing the logos and things like that. And the name, my mom is like my biggest supporter, honestly. And I told her, and I was like, I like the name Humble Creations because I feel like growing up for me, nothing was. I'm not saying it was hard for me in life because it wasn't at all, but everything that I wanted to work for was never easy because I never just had it handed to me. Like just playing basketball, it was the game comes naturally to me, but it wasn't the respect and the title of being that good, putting my skills to become better at logos and flyers and like learning how to do all these things. So I had to humble myself and learn that, okay, I might not have it like everybody else and just get it like that. So I need to work for it. So that's where the Humble Creations part came from. And in the name, I don't know if you noticed, but I used the number 3 because that was my first number that I ever had playing basketball. Like that was my number. I'm number 3. That's what it's going to be. So that's why I always change the E's to 3s when I put Humble Creations. So that's that.
So D, you talked about how your business, Humble Creations, this is your brainchild. You've been working on this for art. You've had the idea of it for the past 2.5, 3 years now. With being that as it may be, does that still working on your business, when you work on your business, does that bring you the same joy as playing or coaching or training when it comes to basketball?
You know what? It actually does. Because I want to take my training to the next level and like be able to build a brand based on that too. So I'm like, okay, you want to take that to the next level. You want to do your own website. You want to do your own logo. You want to make your own things and not have to go out to other people and pay them to do it. So why not focus and work on your craft right now and become good at it, execute what people are asking you to do, even if you have tough clients that say they want something and they change their mind and they change their mind again. And then I'm learning how to work and cooperate with people, learning about how to set my prices and this is a whole other process of just knowing my worth and knowing what I'm good at and what I should set my standards at. So it does bring me joy. Like one of my clients now, she's my friend from Auburn, and it's so crazy because I never thought that I'd have a regular friend that wasn't an athlete. So
right.
Like that's really my homegirl. But she has a lash business, and she just constantly asks me, you know, can you do this for me? Can you do this? Can you do this? Oh, I need to change this. Oh, I need to change that. And she literally like called me and was like, I know I'm probably your worst client. And I was like, no, you're actually helping me so I can learn to understand how to put things together and become better at what I'm doing. So it does bring me joy, honestly. I'm not gonna say it brings me more joy than basketball, but it's not like I hate it. Like I'm at a 9 to 5 and I just hate my job. So
right.
Right.
Go ahead, Trey.
Okay, so do you think it's like super important? Because I find it like one of the things that I like to enjoy is like, I'm not gonna lie, I play a lot of video games. Well, not a lot, but I play just enough. Do you think it's good like to find a passion outside of just like your sport? And this is because I know some people struggle. I said I know because some people like struggle with that, like finding something that they like outside of their sport.
That is definitely the case because that's me. Like I told my mom since high school, because my Furman offer was the first. I got that offer on April Fool's Day. Like I literally thought it was a joke. So basketball was the only thing I was going to. She was like, "What are you going to do if you don't get an offer? It's already April." And I told her, I was like, "I don't know, be a stripper or something," because I didn't know anything what to do. I've been playing basketball. Like that is literally my focus. And then like being at Alcorn, that was literally my focus. I'm gonna play basketball. I'm working to get this. Like I'm gonna invest in myself, because at first I didn't invest in myself. But now here I am, and now it's not basketball anymore. I have to do something else, because I can't make, like, I'm not gonna make thousands of dollars playing basketball because I'm not doing it. So I have to find another route or something else that keeps me interested to pursue. And I think that's very important. And I feel like people should establish that thing that keeps them going other than their sport early, because it can be very difficult to figure that out when it's too late. And I think I probably like missed that mark by a few months to figure out what it was that I will enjoy other than playing basketball.
So just about Humble Creations, like how was it working for your first client, and like how did you feel about that? Like I know a lot of people, their first client, they're just super geeked and like frantic and just like, oh my God, I don't want to mess this up. Like how, because like your first client can make or break your business really. So like how was that?
So my first client, honestly, was the hardest client that I've ever had, which is the crazy thing, because you wouldn't think it would be like that, but it was. The first client I had, she was very particular. She told me exactly what she wanted, and when I would like kind of try to add some like input, I guess, or make it what I think would look good, she would be like, "No, this is what I want." So it was like, okay, let me understand when a client knows what they want and that's what they expect, give it to them, because that's what they're asking you for and that's what they're paying you for. Don't try to, you can make your suggestions, but don't try to too much force suggestions onto them, especially if they're not receptive of it. So yeah, definitely took 3 weeks for me to finish her logo, which is the longest that it's ever taken. Yeah, I was working on her logo and communicating with her for a while, but it came out great. Because one of my friends, it was her sister, but it came out great, and my friend was like, she loves it. Thank you for working with her, because she's such a difficult person. So the fact that you even got something that she wanted to have and that worked for her was great. And I felt that was the joy that came out of it. For that experience for me was like, dang, we sat here for like 3 weeks and tried to figure out what she wanted to get, and I was able to provide that for her. Like I seen it on t-shirts and everything, so it made me like really happy. So it was cool.
Right. I mean, well, you're getting what you pay for too, so I guess it would be okay to be pretty particular about that.
Because a lot of clients I get, they don't really know, so I'm making the suggestions for them.
Right.
So I kind of made the suggestion for her, but then she came to a realization of what she wanted. So then it was boom, give me what I want. So it was, it was a different experience, but it really helped me understand, like, to give the clients what they expect.
Right. So D, just looking at your entire journey, and your entire path that you've been on so far in your 23 years of living, I mean, you've played, you've coached, you've trained, you have your own business, and now you're about to play professionally soon. With you having so many different muses and mediums to show your success and your talent, how important is your life story in terms of inspiration to maybe kids in the Black community, in terms of showing them that, hey, I don't have to just focus on one particular maybe skill or trait or path. I can have many different muses and be successful. How important do you think your story will be for those for that community, for the African American community?
I think it'll be very important, because a lot of times, as Black people, whether you are low class, middle class, high class, however you want to like differentiate everything, most Black people just want to be successful at the end of the day. because
Mm.
success just doesn't come easy for us, and that's just what it is. Like my childhood, like me living till right now, I have no complaints about anything, absolutely none. Now I'm at the point where I just want to be successful. My parents have laid the foundation for what I should have done in my um 18 years, like getting out of high school. After that, when I got to college, I literally was on my own. I've been on my own for the past 5 years. This is my first time being back home, literally, like being here in the last 5 years. So it's just like a big step, but just I guess I would tell someone in the Black community, like, you want to get out, you want to be successful, but definitely whatever it is that you like or you have an interest in, pursue it just to see if you really like that thing. Because things change in your life. Like your mind changes every day, every second. Like my mind is literally all over the place every day. I have to chill out sometimes. So I'm like, dude, you gotta relax.
Right.
Because it's like it's I guess one of the things is like that kind of boosts not anxiety, but just the pressure of getting that to that successful point is social media, of course, because you just like see people
Right.
are successful every day. Like, oh, I'm 19 and I just bought an apartment 30,000 miles from my house. What? it's like, oh my gosh, I'm 23 and I'm at home. So it's just like, I know where my success is. Like, but it's just like to tell someone to take those different avenues just to see what you like and see what it is that you can become even more successful in. Like, I know basketball is my thing. Boom. That's just bottom line what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Even if basketball stops me completely, there's like, just even if I want to stay in the topic of sports, there's other sports that I can get into. Why? Because I tried other things, especially when I was in Japan. I played volleyball. I played soccer.
Yep.
My first sport was baseball and softball. Like my dad told me, he was like, "You were better at that than you were at basketball." So who knows where that could have went? So
Right.
it's just like, just that, explore your different avenues that you have interest in. Do it.
Right.
And like, outside of sports, at first I wanted to I used to watch like CSI all the time. I wanted to be a forensic scientist growing up. Whatever. I used to sing sometimes, and I was like, well, maybe I can sing. Yeah, no, gave that definitely, but definitely gave that up. But it's just like I played the piano at one point. It's just explore, just see what it is that you like and you find the most interest in, and then whatever it is that you really believe in yourself about, take that, just take that step, take that chance. And I was always the person like that was nervous to take that chance, but at this point it's just like, do it. What can you lose? Like, just do it, you know.
Right.
Live I'm learning how to live in the moment rather than strategically like plan my life out, because that's not how that works. That's not how God works. So it's not going to happen that way. So yeah, like basically I would tell someone to live in the moment, pursue whatever it is that you have an interest in, and just go with it. Like go with the flow is kind of like a lame thing to hear, I guess, nowadays, but you're literally going with the flow with some type of structure to what you're doing, you know, to the madness. But
right.
Definitely just pursue what you have an interest in or what you have a dream in. Like fight for that. Yeah.
Absolutely. A woman of many talents. I think you forgot track. I'm pretty sure you did track in high school.
Oh yeah, I did
right?
track.
Right.
I definitely did track.
We'll just add that to your list of many other accomplishments and things you've done. But D, it was such a blessing to have you here on the show. I mean, we really appreciate it. Just like we do with all of our guests, and at the end of every show, we always close out with some shout outs. So if there are any shout outs that you want to give before you sign off, go ahead.
Okay, well, shout out to y'all for having me here. You know, let me see. Let me get all my shout outs in, because I'm a promote this to everybody.
For sure.
But, shout out to y'all. You know, shout out to my boy Javon. Javon has like, I hooked up with Javon when I was in Dallas, and then now he's back here too. So shout out to my boy Javon. Yeah. Risa, she always stayed down. Let me see. Marcel always stayed down, of course. My coaches that I mentioned, shout out to Coach P, shout out to Coach Lewis. My friend that's a lash technician, her name is Amaya Griffin. her page on Instagram is Age and Age Last Bar. So follow that. You know, whatever woman watches this and likes to get their lashes done or whatever. Right. But shout out to my family. Shout out to God. You know, that's first and foremost. But yeah, that's my shout outs. I guess if anybody I missed, I'm so sorry. But you know, I don't want to be talking too much.
No, you're good. That's why you're on here. We love it. Dre, shout outs. What do you want?
Shout outs, man. You know, shout out to everyone who's a fan watching us. Thank you so much. Shout out to my guy Vincel Teague, man. You know, you need some clothes done. You need some high fashion advice. He's the guy that got you. Lord in the Stitch. And then shout out Brandon Rimbert. We'll have him. I think we should have him on the show one day. And you know, hopefully everything works out for him. B Rimby, you know, he made this hat for me. So shout out to him, man. Thank you so much.
Shout out to the Nerdy in Many Ways YouTube channel. Shout out to the D'Anthony Evans YouTube channel, the Tatiana Jasmine YouTube channel, and shout out to the Lost Generation show. Like DeAsias, you were talking about, our friend Javon Connor has just created a new YouTube and like kind of podcast series that tackles the current climate that the world's in today, and it's really good. I would highly recommend watching it. And also, shout out to all of our essential care workers. We love the work that you guys are doing, and we really appreciate it. And none of this would be possible without you guys. And shout out to the fans. Shout out to God. Obviously, none of this is possible without him as well. DeAsias, it was such a pleasure having you on. Like, you are welcome back anytime. You are welcome back anytime.
I definitely will.
For sure. Guys, we'll be back again next week with some AFC NFC Championship predictions. And I'm also going to talk about how Alabama is still the #1 college football program of all time.
I'm sorry. Roll Tide. I said I would if I seen the loss.
Okay. There we go. There you go. Thanks, Trey. But until next time, guys, continue to stay safe and make smart decisions. And until next time, guys, peace.